Talking to business fans, you've been waiting for almost 4 weeks now. We've had some interruptions, things and such. That's right. It's the bad boy himself, Shane
Finally
Andrews.
made it.
Finally made it. And look what he brings into the house. A show all to its own. We're going to get to the other person over here, Josh Ashcraft, later. But today it's all about the bad boy himself, 17-year vet in the industry, WWE, TNA Gut Check. We could go on and on and on. 20 different states.
I'm pretty kick-ass.
You are pretty kick-ass.
Yeah, that's what I'm to say. I mean, impressive career. So, all right, we're here. We're talking the business, and I guess it's almost a tradition now when we do these interviews. The very first thing we talk about is that moment, and it's the moment where you see something and you go, "That's what I'm going to do with my life." And it's that one match, that one person, that one personality you kind of meet. And so for you, where did that come from? I mean,
well, for me, Tully Blanchard is the whole reason I'm in the business. It was actually,
you can't say Tully without, you got to throw it before.
Tully Blanchard, baby. 4 Horsemen. But it's actually a 2-part thing. Like, the first time I saw Tully Blanchard wrestling on TV, I was always a wrestling fan. Like most of us are that get in the business. But I saw him and I was like, man, like, I don't know, there's something about him. I was like, man, I could, because he wasn't a big guy. He wasn't 6'6", 300 pounds, like a big, like, I was like, man, I could do this. And then I went to my very first live event, and Ric Flair is walking down the aisle, and I reach out and I touch his robe.
Oh, wow.
Well, he looks at me, and he goes, hey, you little son of a bitch. Don't you ever touch my fucking robe. And for me, like, most children would have been scared. I thought it was the fucking greatest thing ever. And I remember sitting there, and I looked at my mom, and I was like, this was at the Knoxville Civic Coliseum. And I remember I told my mother, I was like, I will wrestle in this building one day. This is what I want to do. And she was, of course, you know, sure, son, sure, blah, 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 you know, the whole, you know, hope you do it. Well, come to find out, turn around years later, I actually did get to wrestle in that building.
Oh, that's awesome.
But those two, seeing Tully for the first time and Ric Flair cussing me out is what really set this in motion. And I always knew, even coming up through school, teachers asking, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up, all this stuff, and we had, you know, write papers on it, like, mine was all about professional wrestling. They all thought I was an idiot, but I didn't want to be a fireman or a cop or, you know, anything like that. I wanted to be a wrestler, so that's what I did.
And, you know, if you have a love for the industry, like I said, we all have those moments, and I've said it on the show before, mine was seeing Terry Gordy for the very first time and being scared shitless and going, oh my God, but that's what drew me in. And then, of course, Stan Hansen with the cowbell and ESPN, and you go, oh my God, that blind man throwing lariats left and right, but that's what hooked me. So we all have those moments. But then we go into your training, which is, you know, you want to talk about Mount Rushmores of managers, and you talk about a Paul Heyman, a Bobby Heenan. Mr. Fuji's got to be in that group. So being in Tennessee,
the devious one,
the devious one himself, and you know the Wild Samoans and all the great teams, Demolition that he managed, and he actually trained you. But not only him, but possibly the best seller of all time, Ricky Morton.
Right. Well, and the thing about it, a lot of people who, you know, if you haven't studied your history, back when WWE was WWWF, 3, 4 W's, whatever it was, Mr. Fuji was like a 6-time tag team champion.
Yes.
Like, I mean, he was a legit great heel, great wrestler, sells out. I mean, could do it all. Like, a lot of people think he was just a manager. So he actually did have a wrestling background. He knew what it was like to take bumps. He knew what it was like to work. I trained with him for about a year or so in 1998. We started traveling the Indies, around the Indies and everything. Very fortunate coming up, because when I was coming up in Knoxville, Tennessee area, Tom Pritchard was around all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Ricky Morton, Bobby Eaton, all these guys. So I got to learn, and I would always sit, pick their brains, listen to them. I got to wrestle them. So very, very fortunate coming. I got to work with Jake Roberts a couple times. That was a learning experience. Jerry Lynn, there's another one I got to learn from.
The phenomenal, you know.
So I got to learn all these different styles, because, you know, Jerry's got a different style.
Oh,
Ricky, like, you know, they've all. So I got to pick up so many knowledgeable things, man. It was, and a lot of people don't get that anymore. They don't get that pleasure and that to work with some of these guys who've been there, who've done it, who've been stars, who will teach you. And a lot of times they're on shows with them, but they're too scared to pick their brain. They're too scared to talk to them. Like, I've been in locker rooms. I was in the locker room for one. This was like 2 years ago. You got Tatanka, Vader, Shane Douglas, Bobby Fulton. Who else was there? There was somebody else there. But at the time, I've been in the business like 15 years. I'm the only one going around picking everybody's brain, still trying to learn. You got these other kids who are over here been in business 2 years, just thinking they know everything and they don't need any help. And I'm like, fuck are you guys doing? Like, why are you not trying to learn? Why are you not trying to...
Especially someone, you know, and Shane Douglas especially me because of his psychology in the ring. A guy that maybe had 4 or 5 moves, but could tell a story over a 6-month arc, no big deal because of his psychology.
Well, something that was told to me by the guys that train me, it's not about what you do, it's about how you do what you do. I've only got really 4 moves, if we're being honest. But it's the way I do them, it's where I place them, it's the selling behind it, it's everything that goes into what I'm doing, instead of me just doing it just to be doing it.
And fans, if you haven't, you know, if you don't know the name Ricky Morton, or you're not familiar,
then you're a fucking idiot.
I'm not even going to go that aspect. Please go to YouTube. You look up Ricky Morton, Ric Flair, and you want to know how to sell that one match, Saturday Night Main Event. No, it's not Saturday Night Main Event. Whatever the WCW show was at the time. Ricky Morton, Ric Flair.
Even before them in NWA.
Oh.
Before it was WCW,
God,
the matches they had
were
amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. And, you know, you want to talk about learning how to sell and how to put someone over? Ricky was the best in the business, still is to this day. Make no bones about it. So we go from the training, and then you get a wonderful opportunity in 2002. You actually get to work with WWE.
Yeah.
So we have, you get a couple spots in, then you get a shot with Velocity, and you get in the ring with, of all people, Rikishi.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there is a size difference there.
Just a little.
He's a little bit smaller than me, but and that's pretty much. It was pretty much what we call a squash. I mean, I'm there just to, you know,
enhancement talent. Let's be professional about it.
Okay, and we'll go that route. I'm enhancement talent. I don't know how much I could enhance Rikishi, but I took a good beating. You know, got a little stink face. Not happy about that one. That's a big ass coming at you. But anyway. But you know what? It's a shot at Velocity. So.
Hey, there's nothing wrong. And, you know, again, you go from there. You're working. And then TNA Gut Check comes in. So how did this happen? Now, I'm assuming this is when Jeff Jarrett or Jerry Jarrett was running the company at this time?
No, they did the gut checks when Dixie was there.
Dixie was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one I did was in basically Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
We went there. It was like a little tryout gimmick. There was 20-something guys there. We all got in the ring. We all had to cut promos. We all, you know, we had tryout matches before. It was all done before the show. And then I didn't actually get to work that show because there was 2 guys from that area, from the NWA Wildside, which is now, I think, Anarchy is what it's called. They were on that show. That was their hometown, so they put them on there. I know a lot of the guys in TNA just from working with them on the indies. And so fast forward a couple months down the road, they were coming to Knoxville, Tennessee, which is my hometown.
Yeah.
Me and one of my best friends in the business, Sean Schultz, who is one hell of a wrestler. He's wrestled for WWE, like on SmackDown. He's wrestled for TNA, Ring of Honor. I mean, everybody. He and I actually got to, and that's both of our hometown. He and I actually got to wrestle each other on that show.
Okay.
And one of the greatest things was, not trying to name drop or anything, but after our match, we come through the curtain, and the first person to greet us is Rob Van Dam. And he looks at us. He goes, "Guys, that was fucking awesome." He's like, "There's no reason you guys shouldn't be here." He goes, "I watched the whole thing." He's like, "You 2 kids can go." Granted, we're not kids, but coming from Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, most definitely.
So that was like a great compliment. And all the other guys that watched were like, "Man, that shit was awesome. That shit was awesome." You know, so. Then, of course, nothing happened with it. They were basically like, "Good job. You guys did an awesome job. Blah, blah, blah. Have a nice trip home."
Oh, wow.
We're like, "All right. Well, fuck us then." So.
Wow, and you know, and gosh, that's crazy to hear. But you hear these stories, and I think it's important for the fans, whether you be a mark like me, God bless you, or you're just going out to these indie shows. You hear these type of things, and I don't think the fans maybe sometimes understand the road that you travel. And I don't mean the road that you travel to a show. God forbid, those are stories we'll get into later. But saying that the road that you have to travel to get to where you want to be.
Yeah,
and some of the things you go through.
Well, like for instance, like I've done a handful of what they call extra spots at WWE.
Yeah.
If they need you for security, if they need you, to get beat up, like
you weren't a Rosebud.
No, never.
Oh, okay.
Never was a Rosebud.
Jesus.
Never was a Rosebud. But even like doing those, it'd be the same thing. You go there, you have a tryout match before the show, you cut a promo, like, and then if they see something in you, they'll tell you they'll be in contact. And then it's like, there's been times they'll tell you be in contact, and then it's a year later before they contact you. So you just never know. But that's why you got to continue to go and do those things, like you said. Yeah. The road you have to take, because you never know. You may go there that one time, even though they've seen you 5 times. It could be something that day that you do, or whatever storyline they're running. They're like, oh, fuck, this dude would be perfect for that.
There you go.
There you go, yeah.
Okay. Well, now, obviously, you're working a lot of indies. Obviously, Tennessee is kind of blowing up right now. NWA kind of coming back. A lot of different things going on within Tennessee.
Funny enough, I don't work in Tennessee, though.
I thought you still did a couple of shows.
I did one show. One show there. It's East Tennessee Wrestling.
East Tennessee Wrestling. Okay.
I helped run their training school a little bit last year, and I kind of go down there and help the guys. It's a small show. It's basically for guys who are trying to cut their teeth in the business to get ring time, to learn what it's like to be in front of a crowd working and all that. So, but that's really the only show I do in Tennessee.
But now you're here and you're working with OVW,
yes.
And this year's been I would say 2015 has been almost a rebirth of OVW to a certain degree. It's obviously changed. I think past people that have been on the show have talked about it wanting to be the Ring of Honor of the South, but it was more of a going from the family product to maybe a little bit more adult oriented. I'd say a little bit more edge to it, and it's changed a lot over the year. You had obviously a big part to do with that.
Thank you.
So let's talk about that. I mean, where do you see? After 17 years, you're here now. Where do you see OVW going in 2016? Because obviously you're going to be a big part of it.
I would hope so.
Well, with you and Randy and Jesse and the Bad Boy Club. So where do you see going from at this point?
Well, the thing about OVW, there's a lot of young, hungry guys there. If we could, honestly, if everybody, one thing, we got to all work together for one thing, and by that I mean, all help each other out. A lot of times you see in like on different shows around, like you'll have one guy or this guy that it's all about them, okay. which, and they believe their own hype. Which, truthfully, if everybody would get off, and that's one thing I do love about OVW is everybody does work together. We just got to continue to do that, because if you build the show up and you make the show better, that's better for all the guys on the show working the show.
Oh, most definitely. I think you saw that with Beer and Bruises this year. Obviously, you were part of the ladder match for the contract, and you took a hell of a bump, taking a chokeslam off a ladder to put someone else over.
Right.
So it kind of shows what you're talking about in that aspect.
Well, because we were trying to come up with something, and I was like, for the show, I'll take a choke slam off the ladder, and they were like, "You're gonna do that?" I'm like, "Yeah, it helps the show. It's gonna get the match over."
Most definitely.
Going back to this, guys don't understand, like, to get over, like, getting the crowd just to pop for something that you do, that's not getting over. You have to get them emotionally invested in the match and in the show. I pride myself on being a great heel, getting the fans to legitimately hate me. I don't want to be the cool heel where everybody's like, yeah, and I'm signing autographs. Like, I don't want to do that. So, like, on that, like, I knew what the storyline was. I knew it was to get Rocco over. So he's a big dude. I'm trying to come up, what better way than have this guy pick me up, throw me off the top of that ladder, and then...
It might have been And I will say this to Michael Hayes, who I gave shit to for 3 weeks on Twitter, with the exception of the bump he took through the table. That was probably the moment of the night, and
it got a great reaction.
It was just an absolutely amazing reaction, and that's saying a lot when you talk about, you got the American Wolves of the show, Sheldon Benjamin, someone who I have tremendous respect for, Orangeburg, South Carolina. Charlie Haas is there, and you had the moment. You had the moment in such a big way, and it shows, again, trying to take OVW to maybe a different level than it's been in a long time.
And I try to do that on any show I'm on. Like, I try, especially when I'm on constantly. I want to, because if I'm working there, I want it to be a great work environment. I want everybody to be having fun. I want everybody to be getting over. So I'm doing everything in my power to get not just my match over, but the whole show over. I want the fans to be like, oh, shit, did you see this? Did you like...
Now, do you put that on your shoulders being... I'm assuming 9 times out of 10 when you walk into the locker room, you're the vet. You're the guy... Yeah. You're the guy who's been around the longest, and you're going to... Obviously, you're the heel. You're going to call the match in the ring. But do you really put that on your shoulder and go, well, I'm the vet. I have to lead by example this way?
Show.
Every show?
Josh has been traveling with me lately. He knows how passionate I am about this business, and it's the only way I know how to work.
Okay.
I don't know how to, I guess, take the night off. I don't, like, Jessie...
You're not going to mail it in and just
Jessie,
give a shit performance.
Jessie Bell, love her to death. She's phenomenal what she does, but there's sometimes she's like, you know, especially with me getting up there in age, and she's like, well, why don't you just take it easy tonight? I can't do that. I don't know how. Gotcha. I wouldn't even know where to begin to take the night off. Whether it's the old saying, whether it's, you know, 5 people or 5,000 people, I'm working the same. Like, I'm just gonna I do what I do.
And you don't, as much as I want to, and that'll kind of lead us into the next question in a second, but as much as I want to say the indies have changed, there are certain, especially when you talk about the smaller promotions, you don't see that. You don't see someone leading by example in that. And it's nice to see.
Well, I won't say everyone. A lot of people are selfish. They're only looking out for themselves. They want, it's got to be all about them. It's got to be, and you know, there's been times before I'm like, well, you're only as good as the guy you're wrestling. Because it doesn't matter who it is. I can make you look like shit. It'll be a shitty match if you're gonna have an ego and you're gonna be, or I'll just kick the fuck out of you. There's no point in being selfish, because if you're being selfish and you're tearing down the show, well, you're only hurting yourself in the end, because if that show folds and it doesn't do anything, now you're having and if you're doing that on every show you're on, and you're tearing it down, well, then you're eventually gonna have no place to work, and then you're gonna get a bad reputation for being an asshole, being selfish, and no one's going to book you. So then what have you ultimately done? You fucked yourself.
No, most definitely. And, you know, that, like I said, that did lead into the next question, because I wanted to talk about the state of indie wrestling today, and something we brought up recently, because you're actually seeing growth in certain areas. You're seeing indie promotions outdrawing major companies, and I've mentioned it a million times, Hood Slam drawing 1,200 people in Oakland, or Luke Hawks and what he's doing now with Wildcat Sports. Once a month, they're drawing over 1,000 people to show.
Luke Hawks is amazing and a phenomenal.
And Ring of Honor can't draw 800 if they go back to Dayton, Ohio. So you have indies literally outdrawing major promotions, and it's like the territory days are almost coming back to a degree, whether you want to talk about the House of Hardcore up in the New England area, or you want to go out to Oakland, talk about PWG and Hood Slam, Luke, and now you've got Carino got what he has going out in the Carolinas, the Dudley's down in Florida. Do you feel like the territories are coming back? I mean, is it a slow kind of thing to it, or?
Yes and no. I don't think the territories will ever come back like it was in its heyday.
As in a booking sense, or just?
Because I'm pretty much a straight shooter, I'm just going to lay it out there like it is. You have too many shitheads who are playing wrestler for that to happen. If you look back in the heyday of the territories, even the enhancement talent, everybody could go. everybody could wrestle. They could go. Everybody was good. Nowadays, if you go on just an average indie show, you may have, if you're lucky, if it's not like a Ring of Honor or something like that, just an average indie show, 1 or 2 guys that's good. Everybody else is a shitbag. And if you're watching this and you're thinking and you're getting offended, it's probably because I'm talking about you and you're a shitbag. So you can kiss my natural white ass.
Okay, I want to say this. I'm drinking the Coors Light. He's got the water, so this is straight.
Yeah,
there's no joke about this.
I just tell you like it is. And like no one, it's like most of the guys, and that hurts the guys like me and like like the Devin Driscolls and all those guys who do work hard on our craft and work on our bodies. We try to look like athletes. We try to look the part when you got Billy Bob Smith over here, who's 5'4", 300 pounds, wears a t-shirt and blue jeans with kick pads, and I'm not talking about you. You're not 5'4".
And I was about to say we're not talking about CZW, but anyway.
I
have to pick on them.
I used to work for CZW back in the day, but they had good talent then. Like it's changed.
But you've seen the stuff now.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like and guys like the idea of calling themselves a wrestler.
Yes.
A lot of guys. I'm not saying everybody, because there are so many talented guys on the indies, so many guys that deserve jobs, so many guys that work hard. But then you got the other shitbags I was talking about, who they just like to tell their family they're a wrestler because they think it makes them look cool. They don't know their history. They don't work out. They don't try to get better at their craft. They do none of this. They'll go to Hot Topic, buy a pair of pants and a t-shirt, and say, I'm a wrestler, and never been properly trained.
And then be thrown through a table full of thumbtacks that's got light bulbs on it, and say they're hardcore.
Yeah.
When there's no story behind it whatsoever. You just went through a table full of thumbtacks.
For $20 fucking dollars.
Yeah, it's just...
Well, and it's another thing that's hurting wrestling is you'll have promoters, a lot of promoters. Now, you do have your promoters who are like, no, I want talented guys. I want my show to succeed.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay to bring in talented guys. But the majority of indie promoters are like, well, if I got to pay this guy, say $100, and he's really good, looks good, can go, he's going to get over with my crowd, he's going to help my show. Or I've got this guy I can pay $15 to, and that means more money in my pocket right now. They're going to pay that guy $15 fucking dollars.
And then wonder why they're not drawing like a
And in 6
Slam
months
or Pro Wrestling Gorilla or some of the other companies out there right now.
Because that's more, no one wants to build anything. They want that almighty dollar right now. Well, if I pay him $15, that means I get to keep an extra $60 for myself for that one match. So I can do this. And then in 6 months' time, your show shuts down, and you're like, what happened to my show? Well, if you book $10 talent, you're going to have a $10 show.
There is no doubt about it. And I haven't been to any shows from, like I said, the Carolinas, Florida, some of the other places. There's a lot of $10 talent. I'll be the first to admit, and God knows I love wrestling, but boy, it's tough.
That's why I don't think the territories will ever come back like they were. I don't think it'll ever be, because they're... And here again, if this offends you,
you're listening to the wrong show, and by now you should already know, talking to business fans, this is what you're going to get.
You need to be weeded out, and you're lucky it ain't like the old days. Let me put it to you this way. My first 15 matches.
Okay.
15 matches.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Fuji sat right beside me. Told the guy I was working, he's like, this is my boy, I'm training him, he's going to be good. Beat the fucking shit out of him.
Oh, shit.
I got beat up. Why? Because he wanted to see if I truly wanted it. He wanted to see if I was going to come back time after time. He wanted to see how serious I was. And you know what? I took it, I went to the back, said thank you to the guy I wrestled that night, said thank you for the opportunity, and I came back to training every time. A lot of you shitbags don't know what it's like to pay your dues, to do anything like that. You think you've paid your dues because you bought your gear at Hot Topic and you went to 4 different shows in a 30-mile radius. You don't know what it's like to travel. You don't know what it's like to sleep in your car. You don't know what it's like to do any of that. You don't know what it's like to be a wrestler. You play wrestle. But anyway.
But it's another thing, and
I could go on a rant for that for fucking days.
and we got a lot more coming. So we told you ahead of time this was going to be our first two-parter.
Right.
So folks, we're wrapping up the first part now. If you thought it got hot now, if you thought it got interesting now,
Oh shit.
oh, I'm gonna say we got questions from the fans coming. We got all kinds of shit up. So this is part one. Part two's coming up, and only like KC and JP can say, deuces, you better catch part two.